If you're building an app with user logins in Plasmic, meaning you've enabled authentication, then you're going to be given a current user variable. And this is a variable that's always available on every page, and it indicates who is the currently logged in user. So for instance, let's say this text, I actually want to display the identity of the current user here. We can access that variable and we can just display their email like so. Besides the email, you also get info on the role of the current user. So they're a normal user instead of, say, an admin. But that's about it on the current user variable. So there's not a lot of information, but a lot of apps have additional data that's per user data. And this typically exists in the application's database in some table. Like for instance, there's one row per user in that table, and it's called the users table. So this is very common. So if you have any such user data, then you can make it part of that current user variable as well. And you do that by going to the View As menu, and under User Properties, you can configure this. So our application is using this data source called Form with Users, and inside of this, there's a number of different tables, but we're interested in the Users table. And if we take a look at this, this is what it looks like. So basically, we have a number of different fields here, including the bio and the display name, so some profile information for the user. And this is that additional information that we want to provide in that current user variable. So wherever we're looking at the current user, we can also see what their bio is and what their display name is and so on. So this user properties configuration lets us specify a query that fetches the record we're interested in from the database to stitch into that current user object. So we're going to narrow this down to just the user record that we care about for the current user. So because the current user always has an email available. So again, this current user variable is from Plasmic. It always has an email. So we can use that email to look up the corresponding record in the users table, which is in the application database. And this is the record we want to stitch in. So if we go back to the current user variable, we'll see under custom properties, those additional fields of information that we were just looking at, including the display name and the bio.